Hi guys, my name is Chris and you're watching Wrestling Today. So let's start with WWE is giving their NXT brand a lot of attention, as they have relied on their developmental brand to give AEW Dynamite a run for their money. After beating AEW Dynamite in viewership multiple times in October, it is apparent that NXT's plan is working, and they always had this story in mind for Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch brought a lot of attention to herself when she captured the NXT Women's title. She had a few successful defenses against opponents like Tiffany Stratton, Indy Hartwell, and Tegan Nox. Then Lyra Valkyria stepped up and beat Becky. Becky Lynch dropped the NXT Women's title to Lyra Valkyria at Halloween Havoc Night 1 on October 24th. That was a bit of a shock for fans. Ringside News reached out to ask about Becky Lynch's NXT Women's title loss, and whether this was the way that things were supposed to go from the beginning of this plan. We were told by a tenured member of the creative team that Becky Lynch was always supposed to lose her title to Lyra Valkyria. Becky Lynch had a fun 42-day run as NXT Women's Champion, although it was not an expected one. Many fans would have never placed money on the idea that Becky Lynch would take a detour into NXT, but 2023 has been a very unpredictable year. We will have to see what Becky Lynch does next. Her homecoming to NXT was a very nice addition to this year, but it may be over for her. That being said, the men is far from finished making her mark in WWE. What's your take on Becky Lynch's run as NXT Women's Champion? The next story is about Toni Storm's current, timeless character is something that has caught fire within the professional wrestling business to the point where she is now the #1 contender for the AEW Women's World Championship. From making the most of her backstage interviews by throwing shoes at people to her black and white entrances and silent films, the unique character has caught on, and WWE's Tegan Nox believes she is killing it right now. She's living her best life, Nox told Wild On, adding the work she's doing is so good, and it's very her as well. One of the most popular aspects of her act has been Storm's catchphrase, chin up and out, which Nox believes is the most Toni thing she could possibly say. Wrestlers making a gimmick for themselves has always brought the best out of them, and that is something that Storm is currently doing, with Nox being well aware of her legitimate personality after working with her from their days on the British independent scene through to WWE. I messaged her straight afterward. I was like, that is you. That's the Toni I've known for 12 years. Nox explained, she's just being herself and it's like, oh god, how far is this going to go? Because I know you and you're going to push the boat as far as you can. She added, I just love that she's throwing shoes at people now. Do you like Storm's current character? The final story is about WWE and AEW are in the same business, and they are oftentimes after the same talent. Considering all that has already transpired and what is to come, AEW World Champion MJF discussed his decision between AEW and WWE before the anticipated bidding war of 2024. The specifics of MJF's current AEW contract situation remain uncertain, but the 27-year-old has consistently mentioned January 1, 2024, as the contract expiration date. This has sparked anticipation of a bidding war between his current employer and WWE for his signature. While MJF transitioned to a babyface earlier this year, discussions about his contract have been relatively subdued. However, during a post-show promo at AEW Collision in Uncasville, Connecticut, following his AEW World Championship match against Kenny Omega, MJF hinted that he may be inclined to continue with AEW rather than considering a move elsewhere. MJF said, I'll be honest. I still don't know what I'm gonna do for the bidding war of 2024, but what I do know is that when I get the opportunity to wrestle the best bout machine, Kenny Omega, it tends to sway my opinions a little bit. WWE could certainly make good use of MJF, and they have proven with Cody Rhodes that having AEW on a resume does not exclude anyone from a big push. Jade Cargill is also getting amazing treatment already, so only time will tell if MJF joins them. MJF just picked up a huge win against Kenny Omega on AEW Collision this week. There could be more huge matches in the Devil's future, but he also has a huge decision to make next year. Where do you think MJF will go in 2024? Will WWE be able to take him from Tony Khan? Thanks guys for watching and please subscribe.